Hello guys, how are you doing? This is called Beyond the Not So Quick Analysis. In today's video, we're gonna talk about Inner Circle and the Nuke. They are very interesting, and I know for some of you that they qualify for the next stage on the ESL Pro League. It was a surprise. For me, the surprise it was the result 3-0 because I expected them to go 3-1, maybe 3-2, but for me it was for sure they're gonna be on the next stage of the ESL Pro League. And the reason why I'm saying this so confident is because I really wanted to talk about their nuke in the past. You know, if you take it out to the previous video, you're gonna see they are in the future content list for like 2 months. That is the same time I did their Dust 2 analysis because I already talked about their team, the Dust 2. But in that occasion, it was when they are under the TNL banter, no, the same roster, the same 5 players, just different org. So moving on. And now something that I will be using the future video and the future content is the talking the players and the name pictures because you know these smaller teams you doesn't know who the fuck are the players like how is Oniki, how is Nifi, you doesn't know how they look like. This isn't like teams like G2, Vitality, Navi that you know how the players look like you know how Nico looks like, you know how Manezin looks like, how Zayus, how Apex, you know how all these players look like, how Fallen looks like. Smaller teams, no idea. And I don't blame you if you don't watch too much of Tier 2 scene. But let me introduce the players. Carney, Dowie, FlightX, Nifi, and Oniki. And in every profile, I'm gonna say this. So this time in the CT, and then in the T side, I also do a reminder of the player's name. Okay, so you can keep the tracks of the pictures that I'm talking about. And how the profile works. The profile works in a very aggressive setup, and they play fast, and this is a reason that I really like the Nuke CT, because you have to coordinate the players playing this fast and attacks, this fast approach. In order to this to work, they have to control the yard with one, sometimes 2 players, sometimes with an Aggro Yard player, but they have to control the region. And they control by the outside. They doesn't do this garage play. No, it is very hard to see a garage player. So they prefer to control in the outside, in the side, and then to the secret. And in order to this to work, they must protect the ramp because it is a quick rotation, you know, from ramp towards the secret. So they also keep in check the ramp with sometimes 1 player, sometimes 2 players, sometimes slide X with the AWP, sometimes Dowie with the side control. And the A side, they play a deep A side with stacks, with 2, 3 players. And now something that I should say that is very interesting because it is hard to pull out an inner circle do this with very frequently is there is the multiple positional players, you know, because we're gonna see players playing different positions in the map according to how they set up and according to how they want to move in the map. So if they want to move more aggressive, they will shift the player towards a side of the map. If they want to play defense, they will swap the positions. You know, there is very small detail that you really want to pay attention to the names, to the movements, to figure it out. And when I saw this, I thought, oh my god, this is incredible for a tier 2 team. You know, it is very hard. So props to the inner circuit pulling this out. But this is specific to their CT, the T side, not at all. Starting with the A stack, as I said, you know, they control the map, they control the region. Always with 1 player going to this do multiple function, yard position, and then A side position with 3 players stacked. So the FlightX can control the AWP. Dowie also playing the rotational position. He starts ramping, but he also moves a lot, you know, as I said, to control this part of the map. So Dowie has this job. And then we see this Molotov that it might seem weird for many players, but we must remember that in this part of the map, there is a T smoke wall in most of the time. So they throw the Molotov past the smoke wall to really avoid the T's to enter in the secret. And even though if they decide to enter, they're most likely to be met by Dowie. Dowie is aiding in the peak angle, you know? So it is easy to him to take out these duels. And also in the A stack, you know, very standard, you put 3 players in the stack, you play aggro, waiting for the contact of the T's movement and then win the round. Now, as I said, Aggro Yard. And this Aggro Yard, it is a transitional player play. And by this, I mean that they start aggressive, you know, 3 players controlling the region, with the down going the trophy to lobby room, Nuke playing on the safe position in the A side because he's alone in the A side. So if the T's decide to stack with a quick rush in the squeak and rush, they will control the A side. So you must play very safe. And while they are opening this space on the A side, they controlling the yard with Carney, with Nif playing on this all aggressive. Onyx or no, with Nif. So they control the yard, and after this early control, you must go for the next step. You must go for the stabilization, as what I call the round. When the dust settle, when the first row of utility, the first wave of utility is strong, you must return to something. And they return is the a stack position. One players go heaven, one players go main, one players go secret, one players go back ramp. So they stabilize the position in the A stack. The A stack is the way to go when they want to think. Now the yard control to the side ramp, a similar position of a conclusion that the previous one, but this time Down playing the side. The reason why Down is playing the side is because it is easy to connect in the yard, it is easy to connect in the heaven, to engage in the A side, it is easy to return to ramp if they need. So this is a multi-role position. Meanwhile, you see Flight X plus Kearney on this aggro position with the WP in his hand. Always playing from the side, and it is easier to play in the side because you can throw a nade here near this flash, open the smoke wall, and then when you open the smoke wall, you take out the duels, you take out the initiative in the round. And always remember, when the players take the initiative in the yard region, the A players must fall back. That's why we see Onyx backside, Nif backside, near the duct box, with the Molotov in the top region, with the smoke in the squeak position, waiting for the T to move, And just something that I also want to say is that sometimes you're going to see two players in the side ramp. That is very good to see. Now for a more standard position, the AWP Ramp solo. I know that seems a chaos on how many players I have. We have 7 players figures in this part of the map. But there is a reason. Because Carney and Dowie plays in sync position. They are playing synchronized. They're playing in the same spots of the map. And the reason they're playing this synchronized spot start here. When Dowie and Carney are playing the same part of the map in the same side, they want to do something like Downey is right here and Carney is here. They full aggressive. They move in the same time. But when they decide to shift the position, more stable, more safely position, Downey right here plays in the end of the circle behind this wall. And then, Downey plays this position. And then Carney plays the heaven. And that's why we have the third Carney in the image, because this is his rotational movement. He starts on the... Oh, the arrow is inverted. Sorry, forget about this part. It's going to be right here. He starts here, rotates back, engage on the ramp. So he does this shift moving around. He's moving in between, and he prefers to move in the underground position instead of the above ground. I know if let me just erase it just to feel of these arrows. Here. And he prefers to play from this part of the map instead of the above ground. And the reason that I was saying about this is because it is safe. As Downey already go back, our Downey is already on this part of the map, hiding from the yard position, hiding from this aggression. So if he exposes himself, he doesn't have a trade player because Downey is away from trading the kills. So he needs to move safely. And then underground passage is the perfect spot to do this. I know that it is slower, to moving this way. You open too much time for the T's to control the region, but it's necessary. You don't want to risk one man down, especially when you play with a solo WP in the position. FlyRex is solo WP. And now for the last position of the city side of the map, I really do like when they do this full aggression position, the ramp, two players engaging the lobby, they will expand the control to the lobby and simultaneously gonna attack in this quick position. So they really want to close out this position, so they attack and make a sandwich. One from lobby, other from quick, and then they control trophy. That is the key aspect, two simultaneous attack in the same spot to close out the T's movement. because some common position from the T side is to do this slow control in the lobby, in the trophy room. And once again, to keep in check, flight X with the WP always in the side, not in the garage, not in the secret. So this is off meta because a lot of teams gonna play this AWP garage, this AWP secret, flight X no. And this cut off the teams from surprise if you then study the inner circle game. So this is one of the things that it relies on the studying of the team. You need to go prepare for them. And for the to see, not every team does have an analyst. So just a reminder, if it doesn't have an analyst, remember to hire me. But anyway, moving on. Not every team have this luxury of an analyst. And they went to the games half blind. You only saw a few demos, you only watch a casual games. It doesn't go deep to understand that the main pattern of the inner circle is the WP outside, not the WP inside. And this cut off them surprise because remember, these guys play a lot of games per week. Yesterday in the rig, I saw it was A-ballers. I can't remember the team, but they played 5 BO3s in the same day. And some of them were LAN events. So it's crazy the amount. You doesn't have enough time. You doesn't have enough hours in a day to prepare for all these games. So playing off meta position, play off angle positions in the tier 2 is perfect. You win rounds, you win kills that you shouldn't win if you was studied at the same time. And that's partially of the reason that I think that inner circle TNL is having poor results in the T side that I'm gonna show to you because they're playing too simple. They play too easy to read. Even if you doesn't study a lot, even if you go without any prepare and play just the default positions of the map on the T side against inner circle T side, you're gonna win. And now let's go for the quick break so I can drink water. Something that I always remember these weird names. Natil, French people at HLTV sent me a message and he pointed out something to me that I never think about. Because there is the question of a personal brand. I don't know if any people here knows why I'm doing these videos, but I'm just gonna give a quick lore. Something like 3 years ago, I started a Twitter page called CS Statistics. When the game it was still CSGO. And I started like making it as a hobby, posting right now top 10s, posting some analysis more deep because I have economics knowledge due to my background in ecological economics, some research I did in the past, as part of my university degree. I published some papers in the field. So yeah, I like some numbers. I know how to do the more deep analytical stuff. It's like Logit, it's like some deep machine learning stuff. And I started to do as a hobby. And then the time passed, I have my issues with my father that he passed away. And back then I was doing a more deep analysis, still as a hobby. I was doing some long tests in the Shanghai major, even the physical, the NC come to my DM back then. I remember to talk to praise my job on how I was doing. It was like a 15-page document for everything I was doing randomly. It was very fun. And then, as I said, I have my father's death, and one of the things that I talked with him when he was in the CTI, that is the intensive care unit. It was back that what I want to do. I'm 30 years old. I work as a farmer. I have a degree. I work with my brother. That I really like to do this. I have 2 brothers, by the way, but I work with my older one. And what I want to do, what was this next step of my life? And I decided that I want to try out video games because even though I really like what to do, I earn decent on my normal job. But I want to try stuff, live the life, no regrets. Let's move on. And then I started to make some quick analysis on the documents. And that's why the videos are called not so quick. Because first it was quick analysis, 4-page Google Docs with the CTNT site. It was about that. And I started to publish it not only my Twitter page, but also on ALTV because I know that ALTV there are a larger number of people. Not in the plural. So a larger audience to read the document, to give feedback. And while I was doing this quick analysis, people asked if I could do videos. But as you realize, my English isn't perfect. I can speak, but Recording is another demon, because it is hard to record to keep the cadence. In a normal talk, really easy to understand me, but recording is a different monster. And then I started. And the thing is that I didn't even have the microphone, I bought a microphone to do this. And I know that microphone is kind of a cheap one. It's a 5 I don't know the model. But I started cheap because I have no idea on how to even turn on the UBS to record the videos. Everything for me is new. That's why you see this is a Canva slideshow. And also in the past, it was a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm kind of evolving. And I know that I kind of lost what I was saying, but I was saying that it was a hobby for me. And then I want to become an analyst, but I have no idea on how to become an analyst. I started to make the threads, people requested the videos, and then I started to expand this as a portfolio, to talk with people to understand. And this stuff about personal branding, remember, I came out from 3 years ago as a hobby. I have no idea how to build a brand. It was just if one people read my tweet, I'm fine. If 100 people read my tweet, I'm happy, but I'm still fine. I didn't have ambitions to grow the page for to have thousands of followers. Currently, I have 2,000 followers of almost 2.5, 2,500. I almost have this number. I never have this ambitious. For me, it's just a fun. But now it's becoming something that I want to work. And the personal brand, as I said, it is important. So I'm gonna just to call me. That is my nickname because, as he said, and I never thought about this, is that CS2 Statistics, it is a generic name. It's simple. It almost looks like a scan. But for moving on, I'm gonna be called. And sorry for this weird intro in the middle of the video to talk. I just went out. As you may have realized already, I don't have any script. I do all this video in a single shot, in a single thought of my mind. No scripts. I just have a good memory to remember every position that I want to say. Okay? And once again, just a reminder of the players. Sorry for this break on the video. I'm gonna write down in the description. Carney, Downey, FlightX, Nif, Onik. These are the players from the inner circle. And now talking about the T side. Oh my god, this is bad news. They have a poor results. It is hard. They play too simple. It is too easy to read. And the reason why they're being so easy to read is because they play slow and they play the same plays. They have the low B control, you control this region, to wait for the trophy contact, to the squeak contact. And then the other play, it is 2 times play. The control yard, and they have the option of splitting to the A with one player in the main and the remaining on the heaven position, with their lurker player controlling the squeak, so a 3-way attack. Another play is to pushing the smoke, secret, and then engage B. That's it. This is how they play. Lobby control, as I said, you have all players. Recently in the General Mates game, the Spanish team that they played in the last game, Nuke, they had a different approach with one lurker in the yard position. So instead of just throwing this utility to bait and to fake the movement on the yard, they also had a player. It was just a recent adaptation that was present in the Gentleman's game. In the most of the rounds, they played this approach. So, they are trying to evolve. They're trying to make better plays. But it's just, once again, too slow. They do this control. They open with the utility like the default. As we saw many teams doing this. You open the utility and players engage. After all, we split. 2-3 players on the HUD position. 2 players the remaining on the squeak position. And that's it. Nothing much talk. Yard, I know there is a chaos of the utilities of the stuff that is happening on the map, but it's because it is chaos. And I do like it. Just let me talk first of this purple smoke right here. This purple smoke, that is because the CT sometimes will throw a deep molotov. That deep molotov in the box side, sometimes here. So this smoke is to fade this molotov and keep pushing. And since this happened so frequently on the demos, I have to include it to remember, guys, there is a CT molotov there. So now this is something that they do to not to hide the positions, but to fade the Molotov so they can keep pushing. And the key aspect here from the other yard play, they're gonna show the yard 2B player, is that this Carney, this player here, is playing on the A main position, you know. So he playing on the side of the map. He is the main differential, so you can identify if they want to control yard to go B, or if they want to control the yard to control A. You know, so Carney is the player you should look for. If you see Carney in the side of the map, in the side of the main idea or the main previous idea of they wanted to do is to attack A side. This is the trigger player. And how it triggers the position is pushing the door main, exploiting this Molotov that is usually thrown by Nif. So Nif is the backup player to set up the utilities. He usually throw from here. So he enters the side and engage. And while he is entering, because he first needs to control this door position, not open, controls this section. The team is going to have a position, so they exploit the smokes, the deep smokes on the secret, and push A all the way to the locker position, to the half position, and split the engagement. So the CTs must react from the back side and then from the front side. You know, both way attack. Now the yard secret is to be. Once again, Nif as the backup player, but in this case, Nif plays inside Squeaky. And pay attention how the players are closer to the wall, you know, are closer to the sector of the map, because they doesn't want to have anything to do in this player. They want to avoid these players on the outside, the yard position, the side doors position, the city box position right here. They want to avoid, so they move fast. And I saw a demo, I can't remember if it was against General Maids or if it was against Team Spirit Academy. I can't remember now, but they move out if any coverage, you know, no utility, no smoke wall, just movement. Okay, that was a dumb idea, but it was still a, you know, when you have poor resources, because something that I must talk is that since Inner Circle wins few rounds, you know, only few rounds they win in the T side, they most of the time are playing with first buys, you know, with Tech 9s, with Sandigos, with maybe Sangalius. So it's hard to have a data sample of full buys to really find the pattern, because most of the pattern you find full buy versus full buy, or full buy versus an equal buy, to understand how they react for faster plays. Because by nature, that is clear, at least for me, teams with the full equal, with a semi equal, maybe the Digos, Tech 9s, whatever, play faster. So when you compare the first buys of pistols against a full buy, you realize on how the teams react to faster plays. Just thing that I know that some people are very casual to the videos, but I always must remain to talk about this stuff, to embrace every level of knowledge, because I know that there are some coaches and analysts, even players that watch my videos, and I think that is surprising, but I really like this. Anyway, moving on to the topic. So they move fast with this low cheated setup sometimes, and then engage. And the way they engage is to split the attack. Very important. You never want to attack in the same side. Maybe split with a three-way attack. If you have the player's advantage, you know, if you have the numbers, it is good to split in three-way attacks. And do remember that we have Nif in this position, this Squeaky. So Nif with a smoke in the duct can really drop out to help the team. So there are many ways of attacking the B side, and I prefer this split. 2 on the doors, 2 in the radio position. So 2 and 2. Not going for the third split. That's why we doesn't have a third arrow. Just these 2 key arrows. Now for the last play of the T side, a ramp attack. Straight out from the textbooks, you know, every single time, every single play do the same position. It's very common, it's very easy to do. And the way they're exploiting this, is with this split from Nuke. Nuke can play both positions. The outside to engage in the secret, and then go all the way back, right here, maybe here sometimes. And the other 4 players on a fast control, you know, Nuke, Downy, and something that I must say, I must praise, because sometimes people forgot, is to check it out boost. Remember, there is a player here. No, there is a possibility. I'm gonna return just to the profile so you can have no player here. Remember, you can stand up here. And sometimes there are players here. Oh, sorry. So inner circle TNL looks out for the boost player. You lose 2 seconds. Yes, 2 seconds can be precious in a rush. But you are 100% safe that at least try the duel. Not that you're gonna win the duel against the boost player, but at least you have the chance to try. That is important. You tried, you know. You just lose in the game round, whatever. But please check boost. And you do this. And the reason I think that they do this is most because they also played this SCT. You saw that with the Aggro CT, with the dual CT setup, you know, there always one player in the boost position. Inner Circle do this. And this is just a reminder, check boost. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the content. About the future ones, I'm gonna be talking about Sinners in the Ancient, a map that I really like. Foot on the Mirage, NRG, let's go NA, and the Dust 2. And also sorry about the breakdown in the break section, talking about how I made the Twitter, you know, how I made the YouTube. I know that for sure this made the video longer. I don't know how many minutes I talked, but I know that's longer than usual. And I included this in the description, so you know that to skip if you don't want to see the jumbo. No, just skip. And remember me, just follow me every social media. I'm still gonna use the handle because I think there is a good handle to find out. I'm just gonna swap the name. Bye bye.